resurfaced the Access Hollywood tape and put it on TikTok, whatever. And a bunch of, all of a sudden, there was all these young people that were like, what? He said this? Like, the extent to which people relied on the idea that everybody knew all the things about Trump? No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Hello, everyone. This is JVL here with my best friend, Sarah Longwell. Early, because it's Thanksgiving week, and we are not going to be doing a show on Bleak Friday.
But we don't want to deprive you of your secret pod time.
We don't want to deprive you of it.
Or ourselves.
So, Sarah, what would you like to talk about? Would you like to talk about tariffs and trade wars?
I do want to talk about trade wars, because trade wars are cool and easy to win.
Yes. Good and easy to win, but sure.
Good and easy to win. Yeah. I mean, cool, whatever. And here's the one thing I really want to say about Trump announcing these tariffs and, everybody rushing to make excuses or be like, no, he's just going to threaten them so that these guys give him what he wants on other, and I don't know, sure. He's always playing 4-dimensional chess, guys. Always. Not 3-dimensional. That's what regular people play. Trump plays 4-dimensional chess, okay? So many dimensions, you can't even find the dimension.
Yeah.
I know, have really flirted with this kind of, you know what? Voters asked for this. We're going to give it to them good and hard and see if they like it. And also, I'm not going to feel sorry for them. You're going to feel a little tingle in your belly when people get.
No, I'll feel so bad.
You will.
Yeah, because I'm a humanist.
Yeah, sure. I resist that. I don't want that, especially the things that I think.
You don't even know. Don't give yourself credit because you don't resist it. You're just so innately good that you don't even feel the pull of it.
No, well,
you don't have to fight back. You're like a saint. You're just born
let me finish
good
my thought.
on the inside.
That's not true.
You don't get credit for being good. You were born that way.
It is like Lady Gaga said. So the thing, when it comes to vaccines, I do not want people to get the full MAGA, because the full MAGA is like measles coming back and polio. And so that I do not want. I will not, I won't, that's not a thing where I'm willing to say, oh, well, you guys asked for this and now children are dying of these perfectly preventable diseases. No way. We should do everything we can to stop RFK. Yeah,
yes.
It would be bad. Yeah.
Can I ask you something?
Oh, yeah.
Cabinet secretaries exist to carry out the vision of the president. Correct? If RFK's vision is a world without vaccines, then that must be Donald Trump's vision. And so wouldn't it be crazy to assume that that the only reason vaccines would be, vamoosed from America is if RFK is president? As if RFK doesn't get the job, then the next guy wouldn't. And of course, again, this is a rhetorical question, but we are hostage to one man's insanity on the case of RFK. And if he is defeated, I don't think whoever would replace him would do any of this crazy shit because Trump doesn't care.
Right.
And the insanity of a presidential administration where big consequential things are going to be dictated by the private obsessions of cabinet secretaries is nuts.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, I totally agree with that.
Go ahead.
It's not a brief side. Actually, I want to come back to RFK if you don't mind. But let me just finish my Schadenfreude thought, okay? Because I want to be clear, I will not do it on a variety of fronts. Incredibly accused sexual assaulter running the Pentagon, no thanks. Don't think we should do it. But on the tariffs, I want to watch Republicans choke on this. Because watching Republicans be like, yeah, tariffs are okay. Who needs a free market?
I'm doing the Jack Nicholson gif for you.
Who's even talking about the free market? The free market's stupid. What we need are real protectionist tariffs that are going to jack up the price. Did we just run a campaign on lowering costs? We did. Are we gonna jack up costs now by getting into trade wars with Mexico and Canada, our two nearest neighbors? Sure. Watching the Chamber of Commerce types have to Like, figure out, because this is one of those where it was like, well, Trump's not going to do that. He doesn't mean it. This is one I want him to do. Sorry, I banged on the table. It's not good for the mic. I want him to do this one, and I want them to deal with it, to have to live with that choice. Because it was, and granted, it's unfair. It is bad for the economy. It is bad for business owners. It's bad for American consumers. It's bad policy all around. But they should have to endure this one.
So I've written today about this.
Oh, you did?
It's not out yet. Not out yet, so you're off the hook. I don't think he's going to do it.
Okay.
I think that this is like NAFTA. This is like tearing up NAFTA. You know, remember that? He's going to tear up NAFTA, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, what happens if he tear? And the truth is, all he did was say, yeah, we got to slap a new coat of paint on this thing because I need to take credit for tearing up NAFTA. And so they spent 2 years renegotiating it. And then in July of 2018, they signed the USMCA, which was the successor agreement to NAFTA. It was just NAFTA.
Yeah,
it wasn't,
right.
and everybody was like, "Yeah, look at that! He got us the best deal ever." And yet, somehow, amazingly, these salt of the earth people were still crushed by Joe Biden's economy 4 years later, even though the new NAFTA was going to save them. I think that the tariffs are going to be the new 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada are going to be that, and he is going to issue an executive order.
You mean that they just can't be there? That's not what he's going to do.
He'll issue an executive order that has a trigger date at some point in the intermediate future that doesn't take effect all right away, and that then will sort of rejigger them so that they barely apply to anything, or they'll get defeated in courts. Like, remember his Muslim ban? Muslim ban never really actually happened because a bunch of courts stepped in and he tried a successor executive order and that didn't work either. It's like the wall. He built 52 miles of new wall. 52 miles, that's it. And I think this is like all of those things. He wants to say he's going to do this crazy thing and watch everybody else freak out about it. And so my posture is, I'm not freaking out about it. I'm saying, show me the money. Great. Let's see the tariffs there, big guy. I don't think you got the guts to do it. Do it. I want you to do it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Do it. Do it. And so I really do think the posture of the media should be, yeah, the president says lots of things. Let's see if he does it or not. Because what he thrives on is everybody else freaking out and outraging. Yeah. And this is what allows his base to give him credit for not doing it. Because they get the liberal tears that they want.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not giving them no liberal tears. I'm sitting here like the smart ass kid in the back of the class. You know, the teacher's like, "Oh, don't make me do it." Yeah, let's see you do it. Let's see you do it. I don't think you got the guts. So I don't believe that there will be tariffs in any meaningful way. I hope there are, because as you said, I would like people to experience the glorious consequences of their choices. I think there's nothing more American. But my position is that I don't think he's going to do it. In the same way that I don't think he's going to do mass deportations.
Yeah.
I do not think he's going to round up 5 million people and send them out of the country.
No. You know what they're going to do? So this is a good point. I don't even think we've talked about this, but I really agree with this on the immigration thing. Because what they're going to do, I think, is there are 1.5 million existing deportation orders and I think they're going to get those people out because they are legally right now under deportation orders. And then I think they're going to take anybody
people sitting in jail already, right?
Yeah. And then I think they're going to take people, well, I don't know. Not all of them are sitting in jail, but lots of them.
No, I'm saying the people who are sitting in jail already.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so then people who have criminal records, they and you know what? There's not going to be a lot of pushback from the American people on that, right? But that is very different than the military busting down people in your neighborhood. At
the Tyson Foods chicken factory where,
raiding
half the
them
workers are undocumented. Yeah. That's not going to happen. But what we'll do is we'll get 3 of those so that they'll have good B-roll to show. And they'll just show that B-roll over and over and over again in a loop for 4 years. That's what it'll be. And so I'm not getting exercised about this stuff. Great.
Well, you know what?
Let's see it. In fact, I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to be like, man, it seems like we still got a lot of people who aren't documented here. What? Why hasn't the president gotten rid of them?
Yeah, I mean, so it is interesting. I've been thinking a lot about how you don't do hashtag resist, but you do actual sort of threat assessment of like, what are the real dangers versus what are the things that you're like, okay. Like I think, and you and we've been kind of circling around this, and you kind of from the jump when I did one thing, because I still don't like your position of like, you guys get it good and hard with the exception of, but you were always like the rule of law, like breaking the law is kind of your line. And it's not mine because it's not going to break the law to, pull vaccines, recommendations from schools and things like that. And I think that's still dangerous. And I think we should try to get RFK's nomination scuttled, right? Like, I think we should do everything we can. And again, this now, he's currently he has his first named accuser out today, who was a babysitter. Anybody who's been around
that doesn't sound like him.
Well, no, it does. Anybody who's been around the vetting for RFK knows that there are a lot of women problems. And a lot of them are like babysitters, nannies, people who worked in the house.
Or are they opportunities?
Well, here's the thing that I'm not sure how many people know. His wife committed suicide.
One of his wives.
One of his wives.
Only one of his wives killed herself.
Because he was.
Why don't we focus on all the wives who didn't kill themselves,
okay.
Sarah?
I don't know how many wives he's had, but I do know that one. Like it's a sad, awful story, and he is. And I think he's a reprehensible human being in a range. Anyway, I do think that we should try to get him out. I think he would do a lot of damage. But so my red lines are not quite the same as yours. But I do think focusing on real dangers as opposed to, hey, these are policies that Trump wants, and we don't like them and they're bad policies. But as long as they aren't undermining free and fair elections, as long as they aren't imperiling the widespread physical health of the country, and as long as they abide by the rule of law, like some of the outrages, like the regular outrages, like we probably hold our powder on. Like we don't need to get exercised about all of them because some of them are like, this is what voters wanted. This is a policy choice. It's a bad policy choice, but like Trump gets to do this. And let's see how people like it. Because that then opens the persuasion window. So for me, I do think it is important as now we think about how do we make sure that Trump is not widely imitated forever. Some of that is letting people see what these policies are like. But I also agree with you that the chances of him, I'm not sure how much he will do sort of the full enchilada on them because he can get a lot of mileage and a lot of juice out of kind of doing some perfunctory things and doing things that, like if he deports people who have deportation orders and who are have criminal records, who are here illegally, like okay, I think that's fine. But if he has the American military charging into towns like Springfield or factories, like that's when I think we make sure we let people know, okay, is this what you wanted?
I mean, I don't know. I'm going to sit around going, why isn't the military in Springfield? That's what we were promised. I want to see that. Can I tell you, though, there is one area and only one area where Trump is always willing to do the actual thing.
Which is that?
And that is, hey, Sarah, there's more show.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Are we still talking? We have more talking?
Yeah, we're still talking. The talking goes on. But that's only for the people who are inside the Velvet Rope, the Bulwark Plus members.
Oh, they got to subscribe.
Yeah. Tell them to subscribe. Tell the people,
You should subscribe,
Sarah.
Guys. Why wouldn't you subscribe? You get all kinds of things. You get some extra me and JVL. You get some extra me and George Conway. You get JVL's Triad. This is one of the best things the Bulwark offers. I read it at least once or twice a week.
Yes. Go and subscribe. We'd love to have you.